Playing the Radical Latino Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands in the air for New York's very own.
The Latino is taking you to another level.
Welcome back, my people. Welcome back to another episode of the Radical Latino Show. It's your host, the Radical Latino. Oh my God, how was y'all week? I know I say that every weekend, but yeah, I gotta find out how y'all doing. You know, make sure everything's all good. You know what I'm saying? Hope you guys enjoyed all the previous episodes and all that. I know there's a lot to discuss, but your boy is busy. To be honest, your boy is busy. And I got a lot on my plate, but there are a couple of things I do want to discuss before I really get into this debate. So let me just give you guys a little backstory on this debate. This debate is actually part 2, believe it or not. If you guys recall in my other episodes, I debated a closeted white nationalist Latin person, right? This is part 2 of it. This person decided that, you know, they either lost the debate or whatever the case is, and they felt some type of way, and they wanted to come back and actually, you know, do a better job. So this was actually recorded, I believe, was it the next day or the day before the next? It was something like that, but it was like when I uploaded that episode of me and him debating. I think it was the next day after that. That's when me and him had the debate on YouTube Live. I actually put it up on YouTube Live, and the thing is, I had it taken down after 8 hours. I only had it up for only a little bit. So I kept it on my archives, make sure, you know, it was actually, you know, saved and all that. And I'm just releasing it as basically as a filler. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm just releasing it as a filler, because your boy got a lot doing, you know, in the background and all that. But I do want to talk about a lot of things that's been happening on the news. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things have been happening in the news. Just really quickly, did you guys see the Netflix show, the 5-part series of When They See Us by Ava DuVernay? I forgot her name. But that shit is wild. That shit, there was a couple of things that I didn't even know about that Central Park 5 joint. So I want to, you know, talk about it next week when I actually come on. You know what I'm saying? When I'm actually doing my thing or whatever. Another thing that I want to discuss quickly is that I'm seeing a lot of these LGBT people trying to bogart their way into black society. You know, something I'm not really feeling. You know what I'm saying? There's no comparative to the black struggle when these white people want to just come. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little disrespectful, and I want to give my 2 cents on that. Not now, but you know, I'm just letting you guys get warmed up and just saying, okay, this is what he's going to talk about next week. And a big shout out to that Mexican fat fuck boxer who knocked out homie. The thing is that I don't understand is that really considered a knockout? I don't know. I saw the fighting, I saw the replay, and my dude didn't seem like he got knocked out. You know what I'm saying? Because he got up, and then it was the decision of the ref, because he was like, can you box? And he's like, yeah, I could box. And it was like kind of like the decision of the ref, so I wasn't really feeling that. You know, shout out to him. He's the first Mexican, you know, heavyweight boxer and all that. You know, I'm not taking nothing away from him, but I don't know. I don't consider that a KO. I consider that like he won off a decision, but really wasn't a decision. I don't know. I hate the images that they're showing of this Mexican dude like standing over this black dude. That he didn't even knock him out like that. My man was up. He was standing up, you know what I'm saying? So I'm giving you guys my 2 cents on that shit now. Like, shout out to him, but still, I don't see that as a win though. I don't see that as a win. I see that as like yeah, you won, but it was kind of like given to you. Like it was like on a decision. You know what I'm saying? Because if you guys really do see the fight and the highlights, that shit looks a little janky. Like, all right, my homie knocked him out a couple of times, but every time he kept on getting up. You know what I'm saying? The referee still counting 7, 8, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like he's up. You know what I'm saying? And the last time he went down, this was on the 7th round. He went down. He was like 6, 7. Can you box? And he was like, yeah, I could box. I'm good. And then the ref go like, nah. And he's like, what? You know what I'm saying? He was pissed off, and rightfully so. It was some bullshit. He should have never got, disqualified and all that, and just taken out and given to the other guy. Nah, that shit was funny style to me. But still, he won. All right, shout out to that dude. But anyway, I am going to now introduce this debate that I had. This is part 2 of the debate that I had with the closeted white nationalist Latin dude. You know what I'm saying? He's a little Latin cool or whatever. But here you go. Hope you guys enjoy it. What's up, my people? Welcome to a special YouTube live. Decided to do this on YouTube live instead of Instagram. Is because it's a lot easier for me and my guest right now.
Yes.
My guest is the one that I made a episode about last week, and he wanted to call back up and wanted to give some further insight on his ideas and what we were talking about. And this whole topic is going to be about the existence of reverse racism. Is that correct?
And we might go to other topics later on.
Okay, cool. Before we start, is there a name I could get, call you, so I could refer to you? Do you want me to use your name or a name that you want to give yourself?
Just call me Alex, I guess.
Alex? All right, cool. All right, all right, Alex. The floor is yours. What's up?
So I just wanted to know what's your opinion on reverse racism, because I don't think you specified in the last conversation or debate. So what's your opinion?
Okay. My opinion on reverse racism, it doesn't exist, because the only form of reverse racism that anybody ever points to are black people who are calling out names, because outside of name calling, black people don't have political and social or economical power to affect other non-black people lives like white people's have power to do so. So there is no such thing as reverse racism. The word itself doesn't make any type of sense, because when we talk about reverse of something, that means it's anti-racism. So when we really talk about reverse racism, are you really talking about the reverse of racism, meaning justice? If we're talking about justice, then yes, that's what I want to dive deep into. Then yes, that I am totally for that. And that shouldn't be called reverse racism. There is no such thing as a reverse of a negative thing when the group of people who is implementing this type of action is the majority. You understand? So that's what my point of view of reverse racism is. It's a non-factor. It does not exist.
So you don't think minorities can be racist toward white people at all?
When you say wait, hold on, because when you say minority, what do you mean? What's a minority?
Hispanics,
because
blacks, and Asians. Everyone that isn't white.
White women are considered minorities. Gay white men are considered minorities. Gay white women are considered double minorities. So when we really talk about minorities, we're not really specifying on what a minority is. So can you repeat that question again in the context that we actually understand?
So everyone that isn't white, so Asians, blacks, any other race, ethnicities that isn't like white European.
Mm-hmm.
So you think they can't? So you think they can't be racist?
No, they do not have the power to be racist. If we're talking about non-white people, they do not have the power to be racist to affect white people's life collectively. If that is the case, then give me examples.
Okay, what about affirmative actions?
Affirmative action. What is affirmative action?
Well, it's basically giving minorities a higher chance to get into like colleges without regarding like skills and
again that word minority. There you go. That's not exclusively black. Minority. We're using, these are trick words. That minority does not mean black. Minority could be a white person who identifies as 1/3 Cherokee.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Let me speak first.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean minorities. I mean racial minorities, not like anything else. Just racial minorities.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think about affirmative action? Because it goes against like Asians and Caucasians, because it makes it harder for them to get to college without. Because okay, let me see if I can articulate my words correctly, because I'm having a hard time.
No, it's all right. Take your time.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me. Okay, so basically, you know how like Harvard's getting sued by mostly Asians, even though affirmative action also makes white people harder to get to college, because they prefer for racial minorities to get in. So what do you think about that?
Again, this whole one example about affirmative action, and you gave the example of school, right? So that example right there doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, excuse me, I'm just burped. That example right there doesn't make sense. That example right there is a non-factor. The reason why is because when we talk about affirmative action, that's talking about a person that is being granted something that they weren't granted before, you know? If we're really talking about affirmative action. Affirmative action was actually implemented just to really help out black people collectively. Later on, if we're talking about historically, later on, it was used for everybody under the sun that was non-white or was classified as non-white or whatever the case is. But just because we could go to, let's say, Harvard or Yale, and we could point out 2 black people or 4 Asian people in that school, and we're like, oh shit, reverse racism, that does not affect the numbers, because outside of the education, just because you got education does not mean that you will actually guaranteed a job, because white supremacy affects all of that.
Okay, can you name an institutional law that is white supremacy? I want to know institutional. I want to know what institutional law.
Historically, or something that's in the books now?
Right now.
Okay. All right. Not a problem. If you could look up the Rockefeller law, the Rockefeller drug laws were something that was implemented because of an individual will get more time for having crack cocaine than an individual just having powdered cocaine. Why? Both of those drugs are the same, but crack cocaine was actually funneled into the black and Latin community in shipments and boatloads. And it was forced for us to either use or sell. And then it was a double-edged sword, because the same people who brought it in punished us for using and selling it. And we get, I'm going to just throw out a number, 25 to life for having crack. Then powdered cocaine, you'll get only 10 years. You understand? Another law was the pants-sagging law that was implemented in a couple of states. I don't know if they're still implemented now, but pants-sagging.
Yeah, I heard about that
exactly. Law. So these are laws of white supremacy that is targeting non-white people collectively. So those are examples right there. I could give you another one. Stop and frisk in New York. I'm from New York. Stop and frisk effectively affected Black and Latin people collectively. When you look at the data and the raw numbers, like together was it something like 89 or 92% of people stopped were Black and Latin people, and the what was it 8% rest were non they were white people. You know what I'm saying? It was something that was done deliberately to affect our communities. So these are white supremacist laws, and you can't give me a law that is reverse racism. If so, please give me one.
Well, okay, so I wasn't saying. So this is my opinion on racism. I think everyone has racist thoughts toward any race. I mean, I'm pretty sure we both have racist thoughts. I know people that have racist thoughts to every race besides their own. So I don't think it has to be institutionalized to be racist, because the definition. Let me see if I can find the definition of racism. It's discrimination of antagonizing directly against someone of a different race based on the belief that one race is superior. It doesn't say anything here about political power or anything.
It doesn't have to.
Wait, what? Repeat that?
It doesn't have to say something that you're actually seeing. Remember, these people who are giving you the definitions, who are making up the definitions, these are people who are, white supremacists themselves. I'm not going to look at a white supremacist to tell me there is no such thing as racism and then turn around and does racist shit. You understand? I'm not gonna see that. I'm like, okay, well, the definition really says I live this. I've been a victim of this. So I'm not going to look to a little Wikipedia page that was from the Southern Lottery something center and say that, oh, well, the definition of racism is a system practiced by power. That's what racism is.
System? Can you explain to me how is it a system?
Well, I already told you the laws. That's part of the system.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's part of the system. You really think white supremacists created the word racism?
I never said that.
Okay. So what were you saying then?
What I was explaining is I'm not going to let white supremacists give me the definition of something that I already see and I'm a victim of. That's what I'm saying. But
don't you think people have racist thoughts toward each other even though they're not white?
First of all,
toward white.
Hold on. Having racist thoughts and actually practicing those racist thoughts are two different things. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Okay. So having a black person can have a racist thought of a white person all day, all night, afternoon and evening, right? That is not going to affect their jobs. That is not going to affect their livelihood. That's not going to affect how they go home. That's not going to affect where they live. White people, on the other hand, have racist thoughts and have power to implement those actions based on those thoughts. On our last debate, we proved it. We ran down those 5 examples. So that's the difference. You understand where I'm coming from?
So I looked up these laws, and these seems like pretty old laws, except for the frisking one. And can you repeat the frisking law again in New York?
The stop and frisk?
Yeah.
Yeah, what about it?
Can you just repeat it again? Because I want to make sure I'm...
Wait, repeat what?
What I'm about to say is right.
Repeat what?
Like everything about the stop and frisk law.
Stop and frisk attacked Latin and black people way more than white people. That's basically it.
So basically, can you explain it more? Like, what is it like about? Like, what
it was about?
Like...
A cop, literally, a cop could just suspect you of something and tell you to go up against the wall because I'm gonna frisk you. That's all. That violates the 4th Amendment. Unlawful search and seizures, and they found this in court that it was unconstitutional. So, and guess who's trying to bring it back? Trump is trying to bring that back. So that's what stop and frisk is. You could probably Google it since you're Googling stuff.
Okay, yeah, I'm googling stuff just to make sure. Let me look up the definition. Okay.
Stop and
Stop and
frisk.
frisk
The
law.
definition of stop and frisk. It's in the word.
No, I mean the law.
Stop.
The law.
And then frisk. It's in the.
Yeah, I'm looking up the law.
Okay.
I feel like the definition. Okay. Refers to a belief, non-issue of the police stop a law. Suspect. The Fourth Amendment requires that before stopping the suspect, the police have a reasonable suspicion that a crime is being, or is about to be committed by the suspect. Okay. Let me announce this definition one more time.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Take your time, bro.
Well, right here it says the police must have reasonable suspicion, so they can't just do it randomly.
Yes, they do it randomly. That doesn't mean a goddamn thing. They say, oh, the law says one thing, but then the cop does something else. That doesn't mean a goddamn thing. They were doing that shit randomly. Okay? They were doing that shit randomly. There was a bunch of lawsuits. You could even look this up since you're Googling stuff. A bunch of officers are even suing the city because their bosses was telling them to target Black and Latin people a lot more. You could look this up.
Can you
look this up? NYPD officers suing the city for racial injustice. Look that up. I did a whole episode on that. But
okay, repeat.
But it's true.
Again? NYPD officers.
NYPD officers suing the city for racial injustice.
City for racial injustice. Okay. Searching that up right now. Okay, so sue city for $10 million over alleged racial discrimination. Okay, let me look at this article first.
Jesus Christ, dude. The title doesn't give it away. You have to really look at the article and dissect everything. My God, I'm not saying things. I'm not saying things out my bro. I'm not saying things out of my ass. Okay, there's reasons why I say things. If I say something, that means it's true. You know what I mean?
Okay, but
I understand that. I understand that you want to verify things. I totally get that, but don't you think it's gonna cut in the way of the flow of the conversation?
Okay, you're right. So, why do you think they target? So, how do they target minorities? Like, do they just
how do they target minorities? You tell me. How do you think they target minorities?
Well, I don't know. I'm asking you the question. Like, I want you to answer the question, not me.
How do they target minorities? Let's use our common sense for 1 second. How do you think they target minorities?
Or just go look up to them and they look like a minority and just go up to them and arrest them or something like that?
There you go. You answered your own question. There you go. It was literally almost an everyday thing. You could even look at the stats, since your people like to look up stats. You could look up stats of stop and frisk. I think I completely forgot. I believe it's like 85% of all, 85 or 80% or something of all stop and frisk came out clean with nothing. With nothing. 20%. Oh, they got something, which means, I believe the last time I checked, which means 1 out of 15 or 20 people that they stopped, only one of them actually had something. You know what I'm saying? So that right there was targeting minorities. If we want to use that word, minorities. I like to say Black people, and when I say Black people, I'm including Latin people when I say Black people, because Latin people are from African descent. But that's how they target Black people, and that's how they were targeting Black people. And these are our laws. Now continue on. Now I'm asking you a question. Give me laws that is reverse racism, that affects white people and benefits non-white people.
Like I said, I'm not saying racism has to be institutionalized. I'm saying people have racist thoughts, they can do hate crimes against white people. Even though I do agree the hate crime toward black people is way higher than whites, but there's still white hate crime going on.
Okay, like what?
Like you pull, I don't know. I don't know how to specify it, but I just know there's statistics I looked up earlier.
Okay,
like a couple of days ago.
Okay, like what? Please give me an example.
Okay, let me see. I know I have the statistics somewhere. I'm not 100%.
Don't give me the stats. Just give me an example of, reverse racism that was done to white people, and black people or whoever did it didn't get punished. Give me an example.
Like I said, I think racism isn't about it being institutionalized.
It has to be. It's not what you think. Obviously, racism and white supremacy is institutionalized because it's in the word. It's in the word. Regardless of how you think or what you think, it's in the word because it affects us every day. There's 9 areas of activity of white supremacy that affects us. So regardless if you think so or you don't think so, this is what it is, like it or not.
But the definition says otherwise. You're saying
again, those definitions are given by white supremacists. I'm not going. Of course it is because
it sounds crazy. Like all your argument is calling white supremacy.
So because it is. If it doesn't make sense, I'll even break it down a lot more for you. The people who's giving the definition, the people who are giving the definition of racism, doesn't make sense from the reality of what's happening. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because racism, the ism at the end of racism is part of a system. Nellie Fuller said this. It's part of a larger system. And I don't like to even use the word racism. I like to use white supremacy. That's what I like to use. I like to use white supremacy. Racism, that's easy. I don't even worry about that. White supremacy is a part of a larger. Yeah. Shout out to Steven. It's part of a system. Oh yeah, because we're on YouTube. It's part of a system. That's what I'm saying. White supremacy. That's where I'm coming from. Because you're just looking up racism. You know what I'm saying? You could just.
That's the actual definition of racism.
I'm sorry, what?
Are you denying the definition of racism?
No. I'm denying their definition of it. I'm denying their definition of it because that
evidence to support your claim.
Do I have evidence to support my?
Yeah,
really?
please.
Look at history. I don't know. You tell me.
I know. You tell me. You're the one that's claiming these things. I'm not claiming them.
If I have definitions of white supremacy.
No, I'm saying, how is racism against white supremacy? It doesn't make sense. First of all, why would actual racists make the word racism to attack themselves?
See, this is part of the whole confusion. You're confused right now. What I'm saying is,
I'm not confused.
I'm saying is, I like to use the word white supremacy, not racism. I like to use the word white supremacy. Racism, it could be disputed and all this other stuff because they like to, they're like, oh well, I'm not racist, and they use all these little code words. I like to go, in on what I'm talking about. White supremacy. Racism is part, and it is white supremacy. Do you understand what I'm saying now?
Yes, of course. I'm not denying racism can be occurred by white supremacists, but you're saying the word racism was invented by white supremacists.
No, what I'm saying is their definition of racism doesn't make sense on the reality of it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, even though it says online, okay, whatever. Okay, so I looked up ism. And you were kind of right. It says it involves the word system. Ism, a distinct practice, system, or philosophy, typically of a political ideology or an artistic movement. Okay, so don't you think it could be a philosophy?
Wait. Somebody's asking questions in the chat room. Steven,
Let
what
me
were
actually
you?
go to the chip.
Wait. What are you asking, bro? I don't know. Somebody's asking questions about something. I can't really catch the chat.
Oh, he's asking how old.
How old I am? Who? I'm in my late 30s. That's how old I am. Continue.
Everyone thought you were 21 for some reason.
Hey, listen. I'm mid 20s, late 30s.
Okay.
I have a young ass voice. Shout out to me then. Continue.
Okay. So you were right. I forgot. What's that? What is it called when it's like at the end of the word because it says race and ism? What's that called? Ism, like.
Wait. What? What happened?
So what? Okay, what? I look up the part ism, and you were kind of right. It's a distinctive practice system or philosophy, typically in a political ideology or an artistic movement. So let's break it down. Ism. It can be a practice. So you think any race can practice racism?
Yes. Wait. You said any race could practice racism? This ism is distinctive practice system of philosophy, typically a political ideology. Okay. This is something popular amongst white supremacists. That Dallas.
Okay, explain that.
Wait. Hold on. That Dallas shooter, right? The Dallas shooter. Are you aware who I'm talking about?
Wasn't that shooting? I forgot what. It was 2016, right?
I believe it was like around 2014 or 15 or something. Micah Johnson. He shot, I believe, 4 or 5 Dallas officers.
Yes.
Okay. This is something popular amongst white supremacists and suspected white supremacists. When they like to talk about reverse racism, they point out to black people doing that type of action. Now, this is what I'm going to combat. Out of that action, he got killed and taken out very easily. There was no system to protect him. Going to Dylan Roof, there was a system to protect him. Mind you, he shot up a whole church. There was a system to protect him. All right? The Batman shooter, there was a system to protect him. The Vegas shooter, he shot his damn self, but there was a system to protect him. The bomber, the MAGA bomber, there was a system to protect you. You see where I'm coming from this? So whenever black people do commit so-called reverse racism, there's no system to protect them. I'm gonna give you another example. When white supremacists say, "Oh, Black Lives Matter kidnapped this retarded kid," guess what ended up happening? They went to jail less than 24 hours. There was no system to protect them. There is literally videos of white people resisting the cops, resisting arrest, getting the cops' gun and shooting back. They never die. They never get taken out. There's a system to protect them. You could even look this up since you're doing your Googles. You could look this up. You could wait. You could look this up since you're doing your Googles. Dylan Roof.
Yes, that's what
shot up a church. He begged.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
He begged and pleaded for the death penalty because they were trying to give him an out. They were trying to say, listen, you're mentally deranged. No, I'm not. I know exactly what I'm doing. No. You don't know what you're doing. You know, you don't know what you were talking about. You don't know your actions. No, I knew exactly what I was doing. You know what I mean? So there was a system to protect him. He begged for it until he got it. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm coming from. There's no such thing as black people practicing a form of reverse racism towards white people, and a system is protecting them.
But wouldn't that be an ideology as part of the definition of Islam and a philosophy?
No, because this ideology reflects in the real world use.
Exactly. So if it reflects people's real world views,
No, not views. Use.
Can hate a white person?
No, not views.
Wait, what?
Use. It reflects on real world use. Meaning, I believe. Let's say I'm talking like a white supremacist. Let's say I'm a white supremacist, and
Yeah.
I see another white
Of course you
person committing something against a black person. Me and him don't know each other, but we have the same beliefs. I'm going to protect him. And guess what? I'm a judge. Nah, you get house arrest for 2 months. You good. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it reflects in real world use. Again, you haven't given me examples of how black people use reverse racism to their advantage.
Like I keep on repeating this. I don't think racism has to be institutionalized to be racism. It's an ideology. It's a philosophy that people think they're better just because of the color of the skin. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So, just having an ideology, right? And having one, so you have one form of people on this side having an ideology and having power over another group of people on the other side, right? Their ideology, their ideology is being protected amongst each other with real world use. And the people on the other side have the same ideology, but it's not being reflective on real world use. And you're saying that's the same thing?
I'm not saying that's the same thing. Okay, so like I said, system, practice. It can be system, practice, or philosophy, and a political ideology. It can be any of these things.
Okay.
That's what ism is.
Okay. And you saying that black people practice reverse racism on a daily?
Not everyone. There's going to be some black people who are, let's say not the brightest. Again, that will hate white people. They will attack them because of the color of the skin. Like I said, there's statistics that prove that white people are being targeted for hate crimes.
Okay. Now, how is reverse racism helping out these black people after they commit the action of what they believe?
Like I said, it's not going to be institutionalized. I'm just saying.
Oh, gotcha. Got it. And that right there is a contradiction of term. Because
Explain how?
I'm sorry, what?
Explain how again? Continue.
How is it a contradiction of term? How is reverse racism a contradiction of term? Because anything with the ism has to be part of a system. I don't care if you believe you're an alien. The whole point is it has to be part of a system. That's what reverse racism is. Anything that you put an ism at the end of anything, it becomes a verb. It becomes an action. So what I'm telling you is, regardless of what you think, whatever you're saying is a contradiction of term.
Okay. So don't you think people can have bad thoughts even if you think racism is only institutionalized? Don't you think people can have bad thoughts of another race?
Yeah, everybody can have bad thoughts. That doesn't mean a goddamn thing. What does that have to? You could have bad thoughts and all this other stuff, but the difference is, a certain group of people have bad thoughts and go based on those actions, on those bad thoughts, and then those people get protected based on those bad thoughts of those actions, because there's only one set group of people that have action based on those thoughts and get protected by it.
Okay, so they get protected by it. So I think we just have different definitions of racism, but we have. So you believe it has to be a system, and I believe it's just thoughts of people thinking they're better than someone else.
I got a quick question for you, bro. You are white, correct?
Like ethnicity?
No, bro.
Like,
no. Hold on, bro. Last time me and you debated, you said that you were white.
About race.
Your race is white, correct?
So, like, I have to choose from white, black, Asian, those races?
Bro, when you put that, me and you debated, you said that you were white, correct? So yes or no?
Racial white? Yes, I said that.
Okay, you're white. Okay, it wasn't that hard again. It wasn't that hard. Ethnic wise, you're Latin, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're Latin. Okay, so you're Latin and your race is white. Okay, why would you? But you're not reflective of the white race. So why would you go and say that you're white? How come?
I mean, you said racially wise. You didn't say anything else. You said white, black. What else you said? In the
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. What do you put down?
Yes, you did.
You said that you're white. Last time me and you talked, you said that you were white. You put down white.
I guess race-wise, I put white.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. So why do you do that? Why do you see yourself as a white person? Why do you put yourself down as white?
Because every teacher tells me to. Like when we do it at school, it's like,
okay.
If
So
you're
every
black,
wait.
Asian, you have to put down white.
Wait. So every teacher tells you to. If it wasn't for a teacher, what would you put down?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I wouldn't even. It'd be hard to guess because I wouldn't say I'm white or black or any of that race. So it'd be hard to put.
Okay. So did you, since you do a lot of research on reverse racism and all this other stuff, have you done any research on the race and genetic racial classification of Latin people?
No.
Okay.
Honestly, no.
Here, this is going to be a crash course. Latin people genetically make up Native Americans and black.
That's what I heard.
And black. You cannot and black. Hold on.
Wait.
And black. Back in those days, back in South America, Central America, Caribbean, those people that were called Tainos, Incas, Aztecs, they were all black and Native American. Native American, that's a new term, but I'm gonna just use it just so you could have some reference. But that's what they were. Okay. Later on, when the Portuguese, Spanish, and all them other came, they raped the women and all this other stuff. That's when people started becoming different colors. Anyway, genetically talking, the lightest Latin person, I'm telling you this right now, genetically speaking, the lightest, whitest Latin person will always come out no less than 35% Native American. Did you know that?
Yes, because I'm sure if you were right about the black. Because I look up mestizo, which is like
mestizo means mixed with white and black. That's what mestizo means. That's all it means. It's a mix with white and black. That's all it means. If you really break it down to its natural state, it means mixed with white and black. That's all it means.
It says right here, white European and indigenous backgrounds.
Exactly. Indigenous. Look at the term, indigenous.
Okay.
What does indigenous mean? We just gotta keep it simple. You understand what I'm saying?
The native population. So wouldn't it be whites and Native Americans?
When I don't know who wrote that, but look at the term indigenous. Look at the term. They know exactly who the white people are, but look at the term indigenous.
It was literally Native Americans. What?
Do you see? This is white supremacy. But anyway,
why do you call everything white supremacy?
Because that's what that's what it is. You have to call out what it is. Okay, we shouldn't be scared to call out white supremacy. A lot of Latin people see white people as the end all be all. We put white people on a pedestal to the point where we even praise them when we see religious structures, okay? So we have to call out what it is. We shouldn't be scared to call out white supremacy out, okay? I'm not saying all white people are white supremacists. I never said that.
Okay.
I never said that.
I never said that either.
But the majority that are, you have to call them out. And white supremacy come in different shapes, sizes, beliefs, and everything. So we have to learn how to differentiate the two and learn the code words.
So you're saying the definition of indigenous people were made by white supremacists? No.
I'm saying that's white supremacy by just putting that word out there. Indigenous. What does that even mean? Point out to an indigenous person. You understand? They were very specific with what they talk about white people. They were Spanish. Ooh, Spanish. You know what I mean? They know who exactly indigenous. What the fuck does that even mean? You know what I'm saying? These are
native people.
Well, there you go. Why couldn't they just put native people? They had to put indigenous. No, they didn't. They put indigenous.
Because people like using fancy words to describe different things.
Oh, so how come they didn't use a fancy word for white people?
Because
you see? Anyway, so going back to what I was trying to get at.
But you still haven't proved the point.
Well, because I haven't even finished. Going back to what I was...
to say individual... It's hard to call someone indigenous a color of the skin.
Okay.
White, you could call easily white people because there's color of the skin is pretty light white skin, so it's easy to say that. But what color are the native people? It's hard to say. That's why they use indigenous.
Okay. Going back to what I was saying, you can have the lightest Latin person, the whitest Latin person out here, and they will come out no less than 30% Native American. Why? Is because that native blood runs in all of us. All right? Yeah. Native people literally traded, knew, spoke, and everything from America, Central America to South America. We all share the same blood. We all share the same blood. And by the fact that Latin people, especially in this country, in America, will go out their way to classify themselves as white is a big issue. Why do I say it's a big issue? Is because you're already putting yourself in a mental space that I am white. And for some reason, I always found that the non-white people who want to classify and go out their way classifying themselves as white so much end up practicing white supremacy a lot more harder. And that's the reason why I always get on my Latin people about getting outside that European mindset. That's why I go at you a lot. Like, don't get me wrong. I like you. You're a cool person to talk to. I like to, listen to your beliefs and all this other stuff. You are a troll. You are a troll. I do not, I'm not missed on that. But the fact is, because I know you'll be trolling. Don't act like you don't. The fact is that Latin people should start getting away from that whole mindset of I'm white, classifying themselves as white. Do you agree or
Okay,
disagree? Do you agree or disagree?
Okay. So what I was gonna say, give me an example of someone classifying as white.
You.
Not like that.
You right now. You. What race do you put down? White.
Classified as white.
You just say you did, bro. What are you talking about?
I mean, I know I did, but I don't actually identify as white. I just put it as
If
white.
you put down your white, you classify yourself as white. Look at all these little code words that you gave me last time we spoke. Right now, reverse racism. That's not true. All this other stuff. You know what I mean? Come on, dude.
I mean, you call everything white supremacy, even though you have no point.
Of course. Well, you just saying I have no points doesn't really prove anything because I'm proving you wrong. That doesn't mean a goddamn thing.
You can't even define racism. Okay, you just said white supremacists invented the word racism. You said white supremacists invented the word indigenous people, but you didn't provide any evidence to support that.
You're not. I never said that they invented these words. I said look at the use of those words. That's what I'm saying. Let's be clear on what I'm saying. Tackle what I say, not what you interpret I say, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, once again, why do you classify yourself as white?
For no reason. That's like, I guess the closest skin tone to my,
I'm sorry. What? I couldn't hear. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you. What happened?
I don't really know because I don't really. Okay, so my skin tone, I don't think I'm that dark skin, so I just put white because.
Okay. All right.
I wouldn't care less.
Okay. So, since your skin tone, it's not that black and not that white,
mm-hmm.
and there's only three choices. According to you, this is what you're telling me. There's three choices: black, Asian, and white. You're closely more related to black, aren't you? Because you're not that white, but you have some melanin in you. So how come you don't put black?
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm more mestizo, which is the term mestizo means mixed in Spanish and generally used in Latin America to describe mixed ancestry with a white European and indigenous backgrounds.
Okay. So why don't
Native American. So
okay.
White is Native American.
So Native American is not a choice. According to you, you gave me three races. How come you don't put black?
Yeah, but that's what mestizo is. So I can, since I'm like mestizo, I can't identify as a white European. That's the closest thing I can identify instead of black.
And the closest you could identify is black. So how come you don't put black?
No, I said the closest thing I can identify is white European because the definition of mestizo is with the mixed ancestry with a white European and an indigenous background.
Do you know you get brown from mixing black and white together?
Black and white. That makes great. You don't make
bro. Stop the trolling.
It makes
dude. Stop the trolling. You get brown from black and white. Let's not talk about what you get. You get dark gray. No, get the fuck out of here. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If you get a black person and a white person, that little piece of shit is gonna come out brown as fuck. All right.
Okay.
So why do you? What I'm asking you. Why do you automatically go to white and not black? Because in this country, Native Americans were classified as white and Native American. That word was interchangeable. Did you know that? If you didn't know that, I'm letting you know now. That word was interchangeable, okay? So now what I'm asking you is, because they were calling Native Americans tree niggers. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Okay. So why are you so easy to go to white but not go to black? For some reason, you see black as something negative.
I never said that.
No. I'm not saying you did. I'm not saying you did. I'm not saying you did.
You said that
but
right now.
I'm not saying you did. I see that based on the clues that you're giving me. So how come you're so easy to jump to white and not to black?
Because like I said, European mestizo is European descendancy of the indigenous population of America. So white people think that's American, but they usually identify as white.
And you're indigenous, right?
Racial.
And you're indigenous, right?
No,
you're brown, brother. You are brown as shit. You indigenous. So how you got two choices, black and white, and you go to white?
I mean, they tell me to. I mean, they legit tell me to. It's like, okay,
well,
so you're...
Listen, I understand why they say that, and I'm gonna break that down in a few minutes. But I'm asking you. Okay. I'm asking you. You have a choice, white and black. Why do you choose white?
Look, I came on. Oh my God! Let me just. Okay, I'm just saying. I was forced to. I don't really care.
Okay.
I just want white.
Okay.
White.
All right. Okay. Okay. You're dancing. All right. Okay. The reason why they do that is because I don't know if you know, but the white population, the real white population, the white numbers are actually down. Latin people, especially right now, are in a very, very curious position right now in the system of white supremacy. From the inception of this country, Latin people were giving this golden ticket to jump between white and black. When you even have things like when Mexico was being sold to the United States, the Mexican government wanted their people to be protected. Under the law at that time, there's only two races, white and black. That's it. The only way you could be protected if they classify themselves as white. From that moment on,
they weren't treated as white though.
There we go. Yes, there we go. So you already know. There we go. You classify yourself as white as much as you want. In the end of the day, white supremacy is going to tell you who you are. So that's why I'm asking you, why do you put white? Even if they tell you to, the reason why they tell you to is because Latin people are putting themselves as white or being forced to do so the white numbers could go up. That's why. If we really look at it, the white numbers are not really that high. The white numbers are really not that high. So, now, because I even asked you, what do you put down? You even put white because mestizo, and all this other stuff. Now, knowing that real world use is not going to be reflective on what you classify yourself as, why do you still classify yourself as white?
I don't know. I just put white. Put white. I mean, that's the whole thing. There's nothing to it.
Okay. Now let me go to another question. You said in our last debate, you said you're a libertarian, correct?
Okay. Do you know what the definition of a libertarian is?
Actually, no, not at all. You tell me.
Okay. So what? Okay. Can you tell me what do you think a libertarian was? Because when you were using the word libertarian, you sounded like you didn't know what it means.
Are you asking me what do I think libertarian means?
Yeah, take a guess. I want you to take a guess.
The same thing as Republicans, but a little bit more staunched on smaller government and smaller regulations. But it's a lot deeper than that. That's the only thing I know about is the bullet points. That's it.
Okay, so it basically means political philosophies and movement. Okay, I'm reading the actual definition. Then the uphold liberty as a core principle. So they believe in liberty. That means they believe in freedom. Basically, they believe overall freedom. So I'm kind of mixed with a bit of both conservative, conservative and libertarian. So some libertarians actually do believe that the police are oppressing some people, but not all of them think they're oppressing people by race. Some libertarians think that being police officers are shooting people of race, and some libertarians think they're not shooting a race; they're just abusing their power of authority.
Okay.
So when it comes to social issues, I guess you could say libertarianism is more liberal than conservatism when it comes to social issues. But when it comes to economic issues, libertarian is more conservative when it comes to economic issues than like the liberals, you know.
Okay.
The left.
Okay. So, do you agree with the whole Latin and Black people gotta get away from the Democratic Party?
I mean, they can choose whatever party they want. I just don't believe that I don't believe most cops are bad. I believe there's some cops that are just bad and messed up. I'm not talking about cops.
I'm not talking about cops. What I'm saying is, do you believe on the notion that the Black and Latin people have to move away from the Democratic Party?
To join what party?
The Republican Party.
I mean, if they want to, it's their choice. I mean, I'm not forcing them.
Okay.
I don't want to force people to go to a different party. Okay.
What about a libertarian or libertarianism attracted you so much? Because it's kind of interesting that a young kid like you actually chose libertarian. You just literally skipped Republican, or you were a Republican.
I kind of I'm a mix of both. Like, I can be a mix of both.
Yeah, okay. So, like, it's very interesting that you actually use that term. So, what about you? What about being a libertarian attracted you so much to it?
I mean, like, the focus on liberty as a core principle, like it says in the definition, because I think America should overall have more freedom to express themselves in any way. Even though there's some ways I hate, like I don't like white supremacy as people thinking they're better as another race, but they should be able to express themselves as long as they're not advocating violence. But people should also have the liberty to do like almost anything they want, because there's some sides of me that's conservative in social issues. As long, for the most part, people should do whatever, I guess, what they want, as long as it doesn't harm the other person.
Okay.
Other people.
Okay. Do you are you a Trump supporter?
You could say, yeah, I guess, yeah.
You are? Okay.
Some of his policies.
No, are you? I don't care about some of his policies. I'll get to that later. Are you a Trump supporter? Yes or no?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. What about Trump's ideology made you say, you know what, I'm a supporter of his?
Usually, mostly economic issues. Like, usually I put economic issues because I kind of want to start. One day I kind of want to start a small business, so I want like less taxes and less regulations too.
Got it.
So I can easily start my small business.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you believe, outside the whole economic thing that he proposed or whatever, do you believe that he is a white supremacist?
No.
No. Okay. Why do you not believe that he's a white supremacist?
Because I haven't seen like actual direct evidence besides some rumor or stuff like that he said in the past or something. I don't think he said anything directly about.
Okay.
I mean,
he hasn't said anything. He hasn't said anything. Okay, he hasn't said anything directly. And to you, to make someone a white supremacist, they have to directly tell you, I'm a white supremacist, correct?
I mean, there's a lot. No, not okay. I keep saying okay. I need to stop doing that.
No, don't worry about it. Go ahead.
usually people make it really, really obvious if they're white supremacists, like Richard Spencer and David Duke. They're easily around.
Richard Spencer. Okay. I'm glad you mentioned them. What about what they say makes it, extremely evident? David Duke, obviously. Come on, obviously.
Yeah.
Richard Spencer. What does he say that you're like, okay, no, this motherfucker's a white supremacist?
So he believes in. Okay, I haven't seen one of his speeches in a long time, or about him, but I've seen it before. So he basically saying, like the white race is superior due to these qualities, and whites should be on top for the most of the time.
Okay. And mind you, Richard Spencer and David Duke are both Trump supporters, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not denying that, but
okay.
But doesn't mean Trump is necessarily racist.
Okay, Trump is not necessarily racist, but yet in Charlottesville, he said there was good people on both sides, right? Okay. Do you know the history of Donald Trump?
Yes.
You do? Okay. Wait, you do? Okay. I learned, studying white supremacy and doing all of this.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that you don't need white people to confess who they are. Mm-hmm. You don't need white people to give you any sort of, hand by hand, confirmation of what their beliefs are. You automatically know from their actions and the clue words that they give. Based on Donald Trump's history and rhetoric, he's a staunch white supremacist. And I'm going to break it down.
Okay, break it down, because I want to hear it.
His ex-wife said he used to read Mein Kampf every night before bed. Are you aware what Mein Kampf is?
No. Tell me what it is.
Mein Kampf is a white supremacist book, basically breaking down Hitler's reign and his deepest and darkest secrets and all this other stuff. It's lauded in the white supremacist community. Okay. Secondly, he was sued multiple times on housing discriminations because he would refuse.
I heard about that.
He refused to rent to black people. Secondly, another one. This is number 3. He was sued multiple times for not giving black people jobs based on race.
Okay.
Also, this is number 4. Are you aware of what the Central Park 5 is?
No.
Back in the 70s, there was a group of teenagers, 5 of them. 4 black, 1 Latin. Right? They went to Central Park. They were just, being teenagers. This is during the 70s. They went home. No, actually, not even. They were just, hanging out there. A woman ended up being raped and murdered, right? Before they left the park, obviously 911 was called, they stopped everybody and they stopped these kids. There was a forced confession, saying basically confess and you'll go home. It was a forced confession of 5 kids who didn't do anything. Years and years later, DNA evidence came out to actually prove their innocence. During the trial, before DNA, because mind you, this is the 70s, Donald Trump wanted their execution. And Hillary Clinton called these group of kids and everybody else super predators. Donald Trump used those same words, and wanted their execution. After DNA evidence freed them, Donald Trump said, you got to look at it again because these people did it. And I know they did it because these type of people like to do things like that. That's what he said. Now,
okay, can you...
number 5, he's calling all Latin people, it's because it's a code word, all Latin people rapists, murderers, and not their best.
he was addressing illegal immigration at the time.
Again, illegal immigration is a cop-out. Because you don't know who's an illegal immigrant just by looking at them.
Not by looking
Number
at them.
6. Number 6. He revolved himself around known white supremacists like Jeff Sessions and Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon is the owner of Breitbart, and he said that news organization is the hub of the alt-right. Jeff Sessions was so racist that Martin Luther King's wife wrote a letter when he was being recommended to be a judge, saying that he is so racist he shouldn't even be around any court. And he wasn't. Donald Trump saw this and said, no, he's my man. So, and also on top of that, Donald Trump has confessed of being a white nationalist.
Okay, can you tell me what to search it all? Because I want to make sure.
I gave you 7 examples just now. 6 or 7 examples just now. You tell me what you need to search, or you could just listen to the playback and, search everything up.
I'll search that up later today.
Yeah, and search everything up, later on. But those are my 7 examples of Trump being a white supremacist. By listening to what I'm telling you, do you still believe that he is a white supremacist?
No, because I still want to see. Oh God. Okay. I still want to see.
So if
LinkedIn information.
Okay. So after you do your research and you find out that everything that I'm saying is true, what would your initial reaction would be?
I will try to look and make sure every source is verified. If it is, it's I know it's right, then it will change my opinion about Trump. But
got it. Okay. Well, good luck on that research, boy. I swear to God. Do you believe that Gavin McInnes is also a white supremacist?
Okay, I never heard of him. So
you never heard of Gavin McInnes?
The name sounds familiar, but I'm barely.
Do you believe the alt-right is a group of white supremacists?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think the Proud Boys are a group of white supremacists?
I heard about them.
Okay.
No, I heard about them, but I'm
okay.
Not
so
sure.
why do you think white supremacists and suspected white supremacists, they are behind Trump 100%? Why?
Okay, that's a hard question because Trump says some controversial things.
Maybe
I think
maybe it's because he's talking to their beliefs.
No, I think it's the media. I think the media kind of backfired on hating on Trump because.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. No. I gotta tackle something you said incorrectly. Doesn't matter what the media thinks. Trump is saying what he's saying. White supremacists are still
portrays him as white supremacists. That's why the white supremacists actually like him because the media.
Listen, you could go on Twitter, and he's retweeting white supremacist tweets all day. There's no bad.
Give me one tweet.
One tweet? Okay, not a problem. Not a problem. He tweeted that black people commit the most crime, and that was a no white supremacist tweet. There you go. That's one tweet, and you can verify that.
It's statistically proven that black people commit more crime than
That's
any
not true.
other race.
That's not true.
That is true.
That's not true.
Proved. I have the statistics
But
right here.
let's go back to what I was saying. Wait. Let's go back to what I was saying. He retweeted a white supremacist Twitter account on that.
Okay.
So that's proof right there. We don't have to look at the media. We could just look at that.
What's the white supremacist Twitter account? I want to know the Twitter account.
Look this,
the Twitter account.
Dude. How far do you have to go, bro? I'm literally hold on, wait. I gave you 7 examples. Wait, hold on. I'm giving you 7 examples. And then from those 7 examples, you want another example in those 7. And then when I give you an example in those 7, then you want more. People, this is an example of someone being proven wrong, and they want more proof because they don't want to believe their own bullshit. This right here is white supremacy at its best. Right here.
Like I said,
because that's what it is, dude. I do not lollygag. I do not sugarcoat shit. This is white supremacy at its best. And you're doing a lot of white supremacist things that will suspect you of being a white supremacist. Suspect. I'm not calling you one. I'm saying it suspects you of being a white supremacist. Because you're saying a lot of things that a lot of white supremacists do. I'm proving to you that he is a white supremacist, and then you're saying, okay, then the media. Okay, I proved to you not the media. You don't have to look at that. His own Twitter account. Oh, so what's the Twitter account? Dude, really? You really have to. So if I even prove you the Twitter account, you have to go verify that too. Bro, are you serious?
Yeah,
you could just go. It was all over. Listen, I don't have to prove. Listen.
You can't verify the information.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. You can even verify yourself. Go to Google and just. It was all over the news. Okay. It was all over the news. So you don't. I don't even have to do anything. You could just do it yourself. But the thing is, the fact that you identify as white, and you are a libertarian. You literally just skipped a couple of steps, went to that. Tells me a lot. Tells me a whole bunch. That's what it tells me.
Okay.
And the fact that you're saying that black people commit more crime than any other race confirms those beliefs.
I mean, it's statistically proven. You can't disprove statistics. They make up 13% of the U.S. population.
But they commit 50% of the crime, right? 50%. They're 13% and they commit 50. God damn, Jesus Christ! Really? So, can you point to me all the Batman theater black shooters out there, the church shooters? Can you point to me the Vegas black shooters who are doing all these crazy crimes? Or are you going to point to Chicago? Saying that, see, black people commit a bunch of crimes. Look at Chicago. Are you going to do that?
You're using anecdotal information. You're just looking at people without looking at statistics.
Well, again, statistics could be skewed. We both should know this. Statistics could be skewed. Give me the raw numbers.
Let me talk.
Go ahead.
So even if it was skewed, they wouldn't skew it so much to say they do it on most of the population. If it was skewed, it'd be probably if it's 52% of the crime, it'd probably minimum be 30% of the crime, and that'd still be a lot for a population that makes up 13% of the U.S. population. And this is proven by the FBI.
Give me the raw numbers. Okay. The FBI puts those numbers down because you got to understand the court system, aka white supremacy. When you are facing a charge, you are given multiple plea deals. Do you understand what a plea deal is?
Not 100% sure. Just explain it to me right now so I can make sure.
A plea deal is basically plead guilty to this, and we'll give you not 20 years, we'll give you 15 years. And after 15, you'll go home. If you don't, then they'll threaten you, saying that if you don't pick this deal, then we're going to go to trial, and you're facing 25 to life. That's basically what it is, you know. And the further you fight it, the better offers come in. But a lot of the time, people pick these plea deals, and guess what? They go on record, and that's how come you get those FBI stats. Sorry, burped again. So people, you know, plead guilty or whatever, and that's how come you get those FBI stats. That is not true. Black people do not commit most of the crime. That is complete bullshit. If we want to really talk about who commit most of the crime, it's not black people. Crime is just committed by crime. You know, if we really want to look at history, white people commit a lot more crime than anybody. But that's not true. A lot of white supremacists like to say, well, go to the hood and you will see a lot of people, black people, committing crime amongst each other and all this other stuff. It's the hood.
True.
Obviously, it's the hood. It's an economically deprived area. People are going to commit crime amongst each other to the people that's closest to them. But you, and not you, but a lot of white supremacists don't point out all the black people are in the suburbs of these places. They always have to pick a centralized local area. And those black people, supposedly the representative of all black people. Just like what Trump is saying now. Those illegal Latin immigrants are the representative of all Latin people. You all are rapists. You all don't bring your best. You all are murderers. You understand where I'm coming from? All those things are not true because there's black people all over. And if only people are going to point out to Chicago and a cherry pick place like Chicago, that is not true.
Okay, so this is the difference, because, so like I said, do you, actually, I want to question you. You think race is culture? Do you think race is culture?
What?
Do you think race is culture?
Race is culture? What are you talking about?
Do you just say yes or no? Is race is
no,
culture?
I don't even understand the question.
Is race tied to culture?
Is race tied? Yeah, I believe so. I believe that your culture is depicted on, you know, your race because, you know, black people have a, you know, certain culture, which means it comes with like food and different beliefs or whatever the case is and different practices. Just like Latin people, you know, different culture, you know, we love eating empanadas and all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, wearing sombreros. So, yeah, you know, different cultures and all this other stuff. Yeah, what about it?
So I have to disagree with you. I don't think race is tied to culture. I mean, race can influence culture because we were divided for a long point in time, but I don't think culture is necessary in race. I think people can practice different cultures from different let me phrase that correctly. I think people can practice different cultures from I guess, different stereotypical race. But you can see white people practicing like Japanese culture because they like anime and stuff like that, you know. And black people can do the same. I've seen it before. It's weird, but but you know what I'm saying. I don't think culture is necessarily tied to race. I think it's the way people were raised up is how people up to be.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I get what you're saying, bro. I get what you're saying. Can you elaborate and give some examples?
Like, let's say I was raised in a Japanese family. Well, let's say I was adopted from a Japanese family. Will my race make a difference, or ethnicity make a difference on how I grow up? Will I act more? If I grew up in a Japanese family, will I act more Japanese or will I act more like Colombian, Mexican?
Well, it really depends. You know what I'm saying? It really depends. Because if you were raised, let's say, in a Japanese, you know, family or whatever the case is, it really depends on who you're, you know, because you're going to know that you're very different. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna know that you're different, and you're going to, you're going to go out and try to find your own, culture of your identity. You're gonna want to find your own people. So, regardless, you're going to try to see, what, brings you into, whatever culture you're in. But can you tell me what is white culture?
I don't think, like I said, I don't think race is tied to culture. I don't think there's no such thing as white culture, but there's like a culture that usually most white people follow, but there's some white people that don't follow, like the stereotypical white culture.
Give me an example, please.
Okay, let's see if I can explain this by giving you an example.
He's lying. Who the fuck?
Okay, so...
Yo. Who's lying? I'm looking at the chat right now. Who's lying?
Wait,
Who's
what?
lying?
Okay. Oh, is this like one person watching?
Oh, okay. I don't understand that. Anyway, continue.
Okay, what was the question again? I forgot.
I said, can you explain what do you mean by race not being tied by white culture?
I'm saying different races can. I don't think the color of skin determines how you will act in life. Let's say, okay, so we all know like rap was invented by African Americans, right?
Okay.
Do you have to be black to participate to like rap at all?
Dude.
You can be white and like rap.
Whoa, what the fuck?
You can be any race.
Dude, that makes no goddamn. What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Because rap is a part of culture.
No, rap is rap. It is what it is. White people, they come in and steal it like everything else, but rap is rap, dude. What the fuck does that have to do?
How do you steal culture?
The same way they stole rock and roll, the same way how they stole jazz, But that's not. Black people invent everything, okay? They invented, damn near almost everything, and white people always take credit. So that I don't understand.
Okay,
I don't understand that question. That doesn't make no goddamn sense, But what about rap? What about rap? What does that have to do with anything?
Like I'm saying, it doesn't need to be tied to someone's race. Anyone can like the music at any race. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
You don't have to be a certain race to like a certain thing. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying race is not tied to culture. Race can influence culture, but I don't think it's directly tied to culture.
Okay, all right. What's your point? What's your point with that? Because I don't know where you're going from this.
Well, I'm trying to. Why did I bring it up? Let me actually think. I was just asking you a question because you were talking about. I forgot what we were talking about. Because I just brought it up I knew I brought it up for some reason.
Okay.
I think. Okay. So I wanted to talk about this. Okay. I think at 9 I'm gonna leave when it comes to my time. It's because it's 8:44 p.m. for me.
Yeah.
So at 9 I'm gonna leave.
Yeah. All right. So we got 15. We got 15 more minutes. All right. What's up?
Okay. So do you know which race makes the most money? Which
race makes the most money?
Like overall medium household income by race.
I'm going to guess. I don't fucking know. I don't know how that is tied into reverse racism and what we're supposed to be talking about.
No, I'm not talking. Not everything.
But
if I
have to guess, I will say white people are the majority of the highest income earners, and then secondly will be Asian Americans.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm a guess. I'm a guess.
Okay, it's actually the opposite. Asians are the highest income owners.
Okay.
Don't you think it involves some culture when it comes to success in life? I'm not saying everything has to involve culture. I don't think all Asians act the same.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, not at all. Because they see, that's the thing. Because no, somebody got it in the chat room. They are the modeled minority. That's the word I was trying to look for. They are they're the modeled minority. They were shitted on in this country. Okay,
Yes,
and
Asians,
then Asians were shitted on in this country. Back in the 60s, they chose Asian people to actually become the modeled minority. They gave them loans. They gave them opportunity to own businesses, a bunch of tax exemptions and all this other stuff, right? They became the modeled minority as a way to poke fun and tell black people, hey, what the hell are you doing? Look at these people. They came from a different country and they're doing better than you people. You know what I'm saying? Secondly, are Latin people. This is something that we have to understand. The floodgates didn't open up until the 60s. Why? Because they wanted to undermine, especially Latin immigrants. They wanted to undermine the black experience, the black economic, development. That's what they wanted to undermine. They wanted to undermine that to the point where they want to point to them and say, listen, these people are doing way better than you. How come you guys don't pull yourself up from your bootstraps and all this other stuff? You know what I mean? Especially Latin people. Latin people, we're professional piggybackers. What do I mean by that? I mean by we ride the coattails of black people in the black struggle, but don't support them, but we ride it. And then after they get what they get, that's when we come in and say, well, we're all in here together and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But we didn't really shed blood, sweat, and tears for the struggle. You understand? But going back to what I was saying about the modeled minority, Asians were lauded as the modeled minorities, and they were not shoveled out from income and land and all this other stuff. So that's the reason why they earn more and succeed more in whatever stats that you're looking at. That's why they do what they do. Regardless of what the culture is or whatever the case is, the thing is, you could have a culture of being respectful, but outside it's not going to reflect what outside is actually going to give you back. I could respect you million ways to Sunday. I could have a respectful culture, but if I go to a bank because I want a loan, they'll tell me go fuck myself. You know what I'm saying? So that's why Asians earn more.
But don't you think, because this is what I heard, I'm not 100% sure, but okay, so I kind of like the Japanese culture. I like the Japanese culture a lot.
You watch anime, bro? So, let me find out. You watch anime?
No, I don't watch anime.
Shit! You got like blue dye on. You got blue dye on your hair, bro.
No,
you be talking Japanese to your parents. You be talking Japanese. You be like arigato. No. You wear Pikachu pajamas and all that? No. Continue. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So basically, like I was saying, this is what I've heard. The Japanese work a lot of hours. They work a lot of hours. I heard like one of my Japanese friends, like he lives in America. His parents are working in Japan, and he claimed that his parents work like, I forgot how much hours, but it was more than 14 hours a week. So don't you think it's working more hours leads to more income? That's why the Japanese people actually make more money.
Listen, there's people in Detroit who work 3 jobs and they're barely making it. That doesn't mean anything. I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about as a group. They became the modeled minority, meaning that everybody get collectively in the same page. You're an Asian person, you go to Wells Fargo, and another Asian person goes to Chase Bank. They will both get treated the same because collectively the system sees them the same way as the modeled minority. The way how we in society, something you got to understand is that when we want to subjugate a group, this is throughout history. When you want to subjugate a group, you have to relabel the people in that group. So when you relabel the people in that group, you justify the actions that you're going to take upon that relabeling. For example, when they used to work black people during slavery from sunup to sundown, they relabeled the people by saying the melanin in their skin makes them work all day and all night without being tired. You know what I'm saying? The same way how we say, oh, listen, I'm cutting a elephant's tusk off. They're not gonna feel it. You know what I'm saying? It is the same way. You got to relabel the people, to justify your action. Thomas Jefferson said that black people don't have empathy or don't have any sort of acceptance or something towards their children and stuff. Why did he have to say this? Because he was ripping families apart. And he had to say this to justify his action. So when you want to justify the subjugation of a group of people, you have to relabel them. That's why we're seeing what we're seeing now, calling Latin people murderers and rapists and all this other stuff. Donald Trump right now is relabeling a group of people to justify why I'm caging them up, justify why I'm throwing them away, justify why I am locking them up. You understand?
Okay. So now let me get back to my point. What I was going to say. Also, what was it? Okay, I know I was going to say something about the Asian population. Okay, now I remember. So don't you think Asian people value education a lot, like more than any other race?
They could,
and wouldn't that make them...
They could value it all they want. That doesn't mean a goddamn thing when we live in a system of white supremacy.
But if we lived in a system of white supremacy, wouldn't Asians be working less and making less money than whites if we were living in a system of white supremacy?
Again, in the system of white supremacy, they're allowed to do certain things. Education doesn't mean a goddamn thing. I could actually even send you this. There's studies and stats showing that white high school dropouts earn more and get better job opportunities and better jobs than black college graduates. Statistically proven, since you're talking about stats. This is proven. There's another study that came out that job hiring racism is still in effect and discrimination. So, this is proven. These are, people who are educated, college graduates, are not getting jobs. So all that education doesn't mean a goddamn thing. There was another study actually a couple of years ago, which I actually been trying to find, but they said if your name sounded black, the employer will rip up the application. You know what I'm saying? So we have to so we have to understand education doesn't mean a goddamn thing when we live in a system of white supremacy. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay. So you think... Okay, so you were saying about the name things. How often do you think white supremacy occurs? Like, what percentage of white people you think are racist in America?
What percentage of white people are racist? I don't know. That's like me, like you're telling me how many grains of sand is in the universe. I don't know, bro. That's a non sequitur. I can't answer that.
Okay. No, well, let me think of another question. I was thinking of a question. Let me see if I remember it.
If you're asking me if white supremacists or white supremacy exists, then yes. I don't know what
that exists clearly. Exists,
so we both know that white supremacy exists. You know, why are we having this discussion about reverse racism?
I didn't think the whole conversation was good. Okay, let me finish my sentence. I wanted to start off the conversation with reverse racism, but I wanted to switch the topics.
Got it. Okay, I got you.
I was even planning on talking about reverse racism the whole time, so after a certain point, we stopped talking about reverse racism.
Okay, just continue with the question. I got you. Just continue with the question.
Okay, you made me forget the question.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, Let's see. What was the question? There was a question on top of my head.
But let me just go back to my thing. It really doesn't really matter how much education you got. You know, when you are institutionalized and being miseducated, constantly being funneled into special ed, constantly, that whole education thing goes out the window. That's a cop out. You know, when you live in a system of white supremacy, that all affects it. Especially here in New York. If you go to schools and you go to lily white schools down in Midtown Manhattan and all the way down through Manhattan, and you go to the special ed sections of the school, the majority of them are Black and Latin people. The only time you will ever see a white person in special ed is because they really have a goddamn problem. They're in wheelchairs, they're crippled and all that. You know what I'm saying? Those are the ones that you can't really just, all right, you know, I can't deny that. But for some reason, all special ed students are Black and Latin people. And the reason why they're there is because, oh, I can't focus, or I don't, you know, I'm too hyper, or whatever. They give you bullshit as reasons. The whole point is that's part of white supremacy, and the miseducation of white supremacy continues on going on, and that affects your livelihood. When that affects your livelihood, that affects where you live, and when that affects where you live, that affects where you work, and when that affects where you work, that affects you, so on and so forth.
Okay. Okay, I looked up the part where you say white high school drops out are wealthier than Black and Hispanic college graduates can. Okay, so I looked it up, and you were actually true. It was actually correct. So. Okay.
So you're proving everything that I'm saying is true. Good to know. Thank you. So I'm winning this. So I'm winning. I'm winning this is big. Good to know. No. Let me. I'm just playing. I'm playing with you.
Okay. So. Okay, it's like 9 right now. So I'm not sure how should we end it off.
Just give me your final thoughts, bro. Just give me your final thoughts. Because last time we debated, you wanted to. This is actually a round 2. So you wanted a round 2. Just give me your final thoughts on what you learned so far, what you're gonna do so far from all the all the things that I told you and said about it. Give me your final thoughts.
Overall, this was a wonderful conversation / debate, and yeah, I think I had a voice crack, but okay. You made me think like differently. Like you gave me more of an open mind to the situation. I'm probably not gonna change my political beliefs differently, but you're making me like more open-minded to the conversation we're having. So I won't be as close-minded. So yeah, I might not agree with what you're saying, but you're just making me think differently.
Got it.
For different situations.
Gotcha. And basically, listen, this is what I've always wanted to do. our first debate, yeah, it was a little heated, you know. I hope this time that me and you had, it was a lot more better, and I hope you feel this way.
Yes.
It's a lot more better.
Yes, way better.
I'm glad that you came on, and I'm glad that you me and you talked, and I'm glad that you know, we both, you know, listen and all that. I encourage you and everybody listening to look everything up that I'm talking about. Look everything up on what I'm saying, and see what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Be open-minded, because this whole thing is about open-mindedness. You know, just don't focus on me and my crazed ramblings about white supremacy and constantly talking about white supremacy. Listen to what I'm saying. You know, there's reasons why I say certain things, you know, and there's reasons why I say certain things in a certain way. You understand? So I'm glad that you came on. I'm glad that you are going to take your time. Hopefully you do take your time and actually look up everything that we're talking about and stuff, because I believe is very important, because in the end of the day, if we don't see both sides, then we're just gonna get stuck on one side, and
we're gonna be more divided.
Yeah, we'll be more divided. All right, I hope you guys liked that debate that I had. Remember, there's a lot of valuable information that I was, you know, spitting in there. Also, if you guys do disagree with anything I say, remember, pull up. I don't mind having a discussion with you on the air. You feel what I'm saying? So, all right, without further ado, I'm going to catch you guys next week. Remember, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the same name, radical_Latino_, and I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace.